The Strangers, released at the end of May 2008, proved a surprise hit, grossing more than $82 million against a $9 million budget. It is genuinely terrifying in its own right, but I believe its resonance with moviegoers goes beyond its framing as a mere home invasion thriller. It haunts us because of what it represents. It is a reflection of post-9/11 American trauma and our collective fear in the wake of that watershed event. Before writing this off as a stretch and an attempt to attach too much meaning to a simple horror film, consider what our art is designed to do. As Shakespeare reminds us, the purpose is to hold a mirror to nature as a way to study the reflection. What does Bryan Bertino's horror film reflect? The story is centered on a young couple portrayed by Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. Their biggest problem is a premature marriage proposal that puts the relationship on uncertain ground. They're not looking beyond an uncomfortable situation, spending the night in the summer home of Speedman's family as each contemplates what to do the following day as their romance sorts itself out. But their lives are upended by three strangers whom they do not know. They are attacked without warning and for no apparent reason. They are in the wrong place at the wrong time. It is a microcosm of September 11, 2001, when Americans on planes and in the World Trade Center and the Pentagon were facing another day filled with immediate concerns and problems when unknown strangers attacked without warning and for no apparent reason. Thousands were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the nation was left reeling in the aftermath. It is precisely why the film is so scary. The villain is not an evil or supernatural force along the lines of Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees or even Chucky. There's no demonic possession, there's no haunting. There are only three faceless, nameless, seemingly ordinary people who kill without explanation and who drive away. In the cab of a pickup truck, one says to the others, "It'll be easier next time." Easier for them to kill, or for us to understand why, or both? The questions haunt us, and the events leave us shaken. The reason is because of the reflection. It is a classic example of art imitating life, and because of that, it is truly terrifying. The great American writer Don DeLillo, in his novel Mao 2 from 1991, predicted the world to come. The new cultural narrative was being driven by terrorists, and artists could no longer scare us because the real world had become scarier than literary and cinematic works of fiction. Modern works, DeLillo wrote, would not be books and plays and films, but mid-air explosions and crumbled buildings. This is exactly why The Strangers is so scary. What happens on screen simply amplifies what is lurking in our minds. They are our fears manifested. Bertino says that he was heavily influenced by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which leaves us traumatized because it is all too real. And director Tobe Hooper sets us up with a prologue narrated by John Larroquette, who tells us that the events we're about to see are true. Bertino does the same here, including voiceover by an uncredited narrator who sounds very much like Larroquette. Bertino, the artist, has the ability to scare us only because his film is a reflection of our real-life fears. So much of what arrived in the wake of DeLillo's follow-up observation was reflective of this new reality. Filmmakers from 2002 to the arrival of The Strangers in 2008 did not really attempt to scare audiences. They attempted merely to gross them out, most notably in films such as Hostel and its follow-up and the Saw franchise, which gave rise to a new category of film, torture porn. Bertino's movie has very little blood. When Speedman's character inadvertently shoots his best friend, who has entered the house looking for him, and when Speedman and Tyler are stabbed by the titular strangers, there's nothing gratuitous. It does not need to be. The focus is on invaders who sneak into a house, just as terrorists sneaked into our country. Speedman and Tyler are isolated, alone, and vulnerable. The one person who could help them is killed. The victims of 9/11 were isolated and vulnerable in confined spaces. Tyler, before she is stabbed, asks the strangers why they're doing what they are doing. "Because you were home," comes the reply. We seemingly were simply at home and attacked for no clear reason on that sunny September morning. Speedman and Tyler ultimately are stabbed in the bright light of an early autumn morning, not in the middle of the night. The strangers, as they drive away, stop to interact with two boys distributing religious tracts. One of them gets out of the truck to ask if she can have one. The boy asks if she is a sinner. She replies, "Sometimes." It's a great response. Evil is almost never black and white. It is layered and complex. Sometimes justice is not served. Sometimes we are left empty and shaken, wondering why evil exists in the world. When that is reflected in our modern art, the artist sometimes has the capacity to frighten us by tapping into the new tragic narrative. The Stranger scares the hell out of us by doing just that.